Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I am Molinda Jae, and I'm here to bring you all a Belle Collective reunion um review part one. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. So, again, I'm just gonna go right off at the top of my head and all the scribble scrabble that I wrote on my notes, y'all, as I was watching this reunion. So yes. Of course, it starts off everyone arriving at the reunion. Everybody's getting dolled up, glammed up. What caught me off guard was Marie and Latrice was still they were at odds again. And I'm like, where? How? When? When, girl? Like, we was all on a good foot at this, after Etsy then came with the olive branch at Latrice's place, and here we are at the reunion again at odds. Okay, because this is how stuff unfolded the last reunion, where we was all I was confused. I don't know about y'all, but I was confused on why these two were at odds, when it came to Marie, Latrice, Antoinette, and Kaylon, um, in regards to the allegations of the healthcare fraud. And I'm like, where did this come from? Because this was not released within the season of last season, right? It didn't come out until the reunion. But when they was talking about the blogs here, the blogs there, and I was like, oh, here we go. And I'm like, dang, this is their first season, and the blogs are already just leaking out stuff allegedly on people that's really trying to do big things, not only within themselves but also for the community. But that's a whole nother vibe in itself. But again, that's how it started, the squabble with this season of Marie leaving the brunch, and then of course Letitia is trying to have Marie stay there, and don't not in other words not letting anybody um take her power, so to speak, away just by them arriving. Because sometimes now, when your mood changes based off someone coming in the room, it's almost like, okay, what, don't be giving that person the power for them to disturb your peace, right? So again, um as the cast was getting dressed, they was getting dolled up, glammed up. That's when Carlos King was like, hey, what's up, to Marie and then Latrice, and they was like, I ain't got nothing to say, or F that. No, I'm just kidding. It wasn't F that B. It was more like, girl, I ain't got time for her today. I'm just here to do my job. All right. But however, for the first time ever, Glenn and Letitia were in separate rooms. Glenn was in his room and Letitia was in her room. Glenn is still self-reflecting, and Letitia is just still in her divine feminine energy, making sure she look good, smell good, feel good at all times, and just being the best person that she can be, not only for herself but also for her kid. All right. And then that's when all the ladies come on the stage. They looking gorgeous as ever. Like, the gowns from head to toe, makeup, hair, all of it. A plus 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 plus. That's what I'm talking about. Uh it was nothing but magic in there. We had Latrice with the purple. That purple looked really good on Latrice. Love that shade of purple on her. Letitia, she was wearing orange. That orange was popping on her skin. Period. Marie Monroe, she done went black, of course, for the reunion, and her pinup um finger wave S curl type of thing, or C curl. But I love that look on Marie when she had them finger waves in her hair. Like, I love it. That green was snapping on her, by the way. And then we have Akeisha. She was wearing red. That red was vibrant on her skin. Um, and I love the ponytail that she had associated with the dress, that to make the dress stand out. Period. Um, because I feel like if you're wearing a dramatic dress, you need to keep the hair simple but elegant as possible. And Akeisha pulled through on that. And then also, so Gucci with the one liner queen, she was wearing yellow. I love the yellow on So Gucci. I just love the color yellow on melanated skin, period. Besides cream and white, it just brings that vibrant vitality, life up in our skin. Okay. And then Tambra, she was wearing red too. Um, and she looked good as well. All the ladies were looking good and fabulous. Now they do discuss on the glow up between first season and this season between the women. Latrice having Grace and Mercy Jr. with her uh im- um breast uh, 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 um getting bigger breasts, and she's deciding on whether she wants to go big or go home on the breast. But they look cute on her. They sitting upright. They looking good. Letitia, her glow up was getting her enterprise outside of the house and having actually a brick and mortar where she can go to. That way she can decipher between. That way she can be able to cut the light switch. You know, if I'm leaving my brick and mortar to go home, I can cut that off and cut on motherly, wifely duties at home type of vibe. Love it. And then she also had the revenge body too, which she's always looked good. But you can tell when a woman is going through something, they either going to do a revenge body, they either gonna cut their hair, or do some sort of transformation, especially us black women, or us melanated period, but especially for black women. Now we move on to Marie Monroe. Her glow up was blondes have more fun type of deal, with the blonde wig, the blonde hair in general. They tried to they did a side by side between her and George Washington and his wig. And I'm like, okay, light shade. But other than that, Marie Monroe, she looks good too. Like I said, I still love her in her signature black finger wave pinup curls, looking like she was giving Betty Boop vibes, um, all the way. And then Akeisha. Now the gag is with Akeisha, right? AKA the real queen of Jackson, which that her and Letitia was going back and forth on who was the queen of Jackson. I'm the queen of Jackson. I'm the queen of Jackson. I'm like, I'm the queen of Jackson. Okay, just kidding. But I was like, child, if you the queen of Jackson, I'm the queen. You the queen of Jackson. Well, I'm the queen of Jackson. It was almost given um the queen of Atlanta. Who's the queen of Atlanta? When it came to uh Juicy and Minnie from Little Women Atlanta type of vibes. That was definitely what it was giving me between Akeisha and Letitia when it came to who is the queen of Jackson. Okay. So um also, like I said, so Gucci, with So Gucci and Akeisha joining the crew, like they were good additions in my opinion for the cast. The more the merrier, and there was great. Each one had their own spin to it. You know, Akeisha, she brought the generational wealth, the history, and the coinage behind her presence. And then So Gucci, she bringing those iconic one-liners, and then her being married to JJ uh just made it even more better because he is hilarious. I don't care what anybody say. He is like reality TV gold. And then Tambra, her glow up is basically Damon, because last season her and Damon, they was deciding whether they wanted to be together or not, or whether the feelings were mutual between each other. So that is one of the glow ups in my opinion when it came to Tambra. um, and of course her fertility journey in regards to having a baby or extending her family. Now, what had caught me off guard is when they were discussing on Akeisha joining the cast last season, and I was like, "What? You mean to tell me that she was supposed to be on the cast last year, but for some reason, some misunderstandings in between there, it led to Antoinette being the person, Dr. Antoinette, and yeah, I was confused there because I was like, okay, they saying they breaking the fourth wall on they breaking the fourth wall. And on the first season, Akeisha, she breaking the fourth wall immediately in regards to her stance with the crew when it came to whether she was going to be able to join the first season of Belle Collective or not. Now that was a gag for me. Just being honest. Cause um I just wonder how would it been like if she would have joined the cast last season, especially since Letitia, her storyline for her first season was, you know, trying to get Fair Street up and running, and then of course with Akeisha getting word or have knowledge of, you know, Jackson, the city of Jackson being highlighted as a show again to come on reality TV, because let's not forget Jackson, Mississippi was highlighted before with the dancing dolls, and then of course Jackson is getting highlighted again for the black excellence that surrounds that city. All right. And the rich history at that, whether it's good or bad, let's just call it a thing. So I thought that was interesting, very interesting. Um, and then they discuss the girls, you know, the conversation that led to the debacle at the sister vention, which was the conversation between Tambra and Akeisha, having a conversation about you know, is there any more cute girls there, because according to Akeisha, she was like, from the promo picture of the first season, they didn't look that aesthetically, you know, looking, in her opinion. In her opinion, okay? Allegedly. I'm gonna put allegedly on that one. However, as she got to get to know the women and actually seeing them in person, it changed her mind. So I'm like, okay, which one of y'all is messy, honey? Between Akeisha and Tambra. I'm like, who is playing telephone and not relaying the information in a accurate manner? Otherwise, don't even discuss the conversation at the end. But I thought that was, yeah. So they discussed that, and then they slightly addressed the Playgate again. Again, I don't want to hear about Playgate next season. I've already seen a tweet saying that they got renewed for another season. I do not want to hear about Playgate ever again. Now with the dirty plates, let's. Sometimes in events you come across a dirty plate. How you respond to it, that's a different story. You can respond to it as in, you got I got a dirty plate. What we gonna do about it? Or you could just simply, hey, I got a dirty plate. Do y'all have any more clean plates available? And the rest is history. Boom. Put a seal, put a cap on it on that. Then they move on to seal the deal on whether who said what in regards to who was ugly or not. Akeisha gave out T-shirts, and Letitia gave Carlos a crown plaque, which I thought that was so cute. with the Keisha giving each of the cast members a shirt. Each one had their own little saying that was pretty catchy on the season. And then we move on to the beef between Latrice and Marie with the alleged allegations of the healthcare fraud. They was talking about specifically the first episode, like when before they started rolling, because Marie, she explained how she came about getting those bundles and how she got a bad batch. And sometimes it does be like that. You as a customer would accidentally get a bad batch because of a bad batch of hair. However, in my opinion, now, if you get a bad batch of hair, because she said the person at the location had styled it for her, and then when she was preparing for the brunch event, she was, bumping it up again, bumping up the unit, and the hair was not feeling the same as it left when she left the spot. So I was like, well, if it's not feeling the same way and you got a bad batch of hair, why address it at the brunch when that's about to be for self-empowerment? Even though it's a reality show now, let's keep it funky. Dealing with reality shows, there got to be a little bit drama in the same frame. But as customer wise, it probably would have been better for her to just take the unit back and be like, hey, I got a bad batch of hair, and could I get another unit with better, with the hair that's supposed to been goddess link standards. Okay, that it should have been ended right there. But she had explained, Marie, she had said that before the cameras rolling, Latrice was like, don't be surprised. Latrice was relaying this to Marie, like, don't be surprised if things go sideways, basically. When it came to her addressing the integrity of her product when it comes to her business. Um, and because Marie had said that they were Latrice and the other guest, and I believe Antoinette was talking about the her business or whatever case may be, because I believe the person that was sitting on the other side of Latrice was wearing goddess links as well. And then that's what led to the infamous debacle from the first brunch on the first episode, saying, well, I got this unit from Goddess Links too, but it's not the same hair texture as the one that she got. So what's up? And I was like, well, low key, that was a little bit of messy moment, but that's none of my business. However, before again, if you got a bad batch and it was before the event, I would have just went with the finger with your signature hair girl to the event with your pinup finger waves. Would have just went to the event like that, because you already had a hat that was big and bold enough, and I just feel like there was no need to wear some links with the extravagant hat. But at the same time, it was just like, well, you did bring up her the hair that you got compared to the hair that the other girl got at an event where they were doing it as a side talk and not necessarily discussing it throughout the whole table. It was more like we're doing some side conversations until the hostess come in, which was Letitia. So yeah, those are my thoughts on that segment. Overall, when it comes to the allegations of the healthcare fraud, again, it didn't appear in our faces until the last season's reunion, and which left me confused to some degree. But like they said, it was the blogs off camera that was bringing out those allegations, and due to the fact that Kaylin was one of the people that was doing some sort of investigation in regards to seeing what any flaws or shortcomings Marie has. I mean, come on now. The problem was with Kaylin, unfortunately, because each time she came, she was shaking the table, and I'm like, "Girl, sit down somewhere." And to Marie's defense, which she did gather her together to where she needs to exit the room stage left. So those are my thoughts when it comes to the healthcare fraud. Just let bygones be bygones. Oh, I just want all the women to be in a cordial, and I tweeted this. I just want all the ladies to be in cordial in one setting, helping one another in each other's businesses and whatever the case may be, because we already got enough ish going on in regards to people not supporting one another because of the fact that they feel like they're in competition with each other. There's plenty of room for everybody to eat, and y'all have two, well, no, y'all have two separate business ventures. Even though even though Etsy had mentioned to Latrice when she was extending the olive branch to her in regards to her relationship with her and Marie, they do have a hair care line and they are licensed cosmetologists, so that's a whole nother level. But again, that was a whole nother surprise brought to our attention for season 2. Okay. um Now on to the Latrice bringing receipts in regards to those allegations. Yeah, I'm just gonna bypass that because at that moment, Latrice was giving Mariah hug vibes from Mary Demandings. Do we need the receipts? I got receipt, yeah, type of vibe. So, hey, and then let's see, let's go ahead and move right along to the men joining the stage, meaning Glenn, Damon, aka Greedy, Willie, and JJ coming up to the screen, gracing us with their appearance, minus a couple of them. And Cedric, of course, is nowhere to be found again. And Carlos had asked Carlos had asked Marie, where is Cedric? And Marie was like, I haven't seen Cedric ever since the rebirth party. And I'm like, well, she did say that he shows up when he want to show up, especially when it comes to getting back in her good graces. Or was that Essie? That was Essie that said that. So Essie already know the drill, and I hope she makes an appearance on the reunion, hopefully on the second reunion, and grace us with her presence as well. But again, to before we conclude this review, the topic of discussion when the men came on the stage was Glenn, of course. Glenn conversating with other women while they were together. So to put context with this, after the ending of the last episode for the season, right, there was a little ending clip of like where's the cast stands at in regards to their business ventures or relationship. And with Letitia and Glenn, she ended up moving back home with him. However, while moving back home with him, she had discovered him being in contact with other women again, allegedly. Even though even though they already said it, but how this was explained on the reunion is that the how she came about the ladies being in the DMs is that his Instagram, from what she said, Glenn's Instagram had got hacked. And so her Instagram, Letitia's Instagram, is like the backup Instagram. And she was like, if you need to use mine, you can go ahead and use mine. Because again, they're still husband and wife, right? However, as she went back, in her DMs or in her Instagram, she had came across women coming at Glenn, you know, sweet talking him, saying that they can do better than Letitia and I can give you what you need and stuff like that. And here's the thing. Here is the thing that I have when it comes to relationship nowadays. And this is why people are afraid to get into relationships, yet alone marriages, because of people out here not respecting other people's boundaries. But when yours get crossed in a different type of fashion, in a different type of form, or it could be in a different time in the same fashion, you want to be all chaotic and raise hell on everybody else, when you should have looked back and be like, how did I actually get this person? How did I actually come across with this person? Was did we start in a genuine foundational manner, or did we start this relationship based on a rocky start because you was dealing with somebody else and I was just the rebound that became the main woman? I have a problem, and I tweeted this out because it needs to be said and it needs to be addressed. Everybody has control and everybody has the choice on the choices that they make. As the saying goes, the choices that you make determine your destiny. The decisions you make determine your destiny, whether it's good consequences or bad consequences, whether it's a good thing that comes out of it or the consequences that come around it. And it's important for us to be mindful of what we do in our day-to-day life, because not only other people are watching, but if you have children are watching as well, and they will replicate the same characteristics that their parents have instilled or have been taught or have been observing from afar, and unless they are able to break the pattern that has been taught or been learned for so long. So now we need to unlearn the fact that women, if you are single, do not go for these married men. They are not leaving their wives, whether they tell you frequently or not. We are seeing it time to time, day in, day and out on these reality shows, and it definitely plays the same in real life. Whether reality shows are real or fake, art imitates life, and life imitates art. At this point, you need to get some self-worth to where you are not intermingling with people's relationships, because you don't know if that is going to come right back at you in the same shape or form or different. So ladies, if you're single, mingle amongst the single men, okay? Do not go after these married men, because they're not leaving. Okay? No matter, because they all, like they all say, it's cheaper to keep her. They are not leaving. Okay? Even if you're married, even if you're a married person, stop dealing with married people, crossing the boundary lines for married people. Stop it. Because it ain't going to do nothing but lead to chaos. You don't know what that person is how you don't know what that person that you're dealing with or the party that they are associated with. You don't know how they're going to react to you. Okay? So it is important for us as individuals, ladies, men, single ladies, single men, stop messing with married folk, because they ain't leaving. No matter what. They ain't leaving. And if they do, then and if something good come out of it, that's fine and dandy. But make sure, if you are dealing with that person that is getting divorced, make sure the divorce papers are final, and make sure y'all are able to start on a foundation that is clear and concise, and is no secrets involved in the midst of y'all building a relationship with each other. I am so sick of the repetitiveness of it all, and then blame it on other things other than the decisions that you clearly made on your own based off what was lacking, instead of communicating that to your spouse. instead of communicating that to a professional. Stop it. At this point, it's just like we got to be able to know the boundary lines, know our sense of worth, right? And be able to use our discernment along the way. Because we all know how people are going to react nowadays when it comes to people's relationships. And luckily, we are in the season of relationships, the season of Libras, okay? When we're dealing with marriages, families, and relationships, it is time for us to take accountability for our actions so we won't be able to repeat those cycles, okay? It is time for us to do that. And that's my stance on it. If he want to continue doing what he's doing and he claiming that he fighting for his family, it's a lot easier said than done. But if the actions is not matching the words, what is the point? What is the point? What are you learning out of there? Until you do right by the ones you have done wrong, you are going to continue to repeat the cycle. Okay? You are going to continue to repeat the patterns because you refuse to stand on your 10 toes, admit that you did wrong, take accountability, and do the necessary actions for you to be the better person that you want to be and claim to break the cycle. And that's my stance on it. That's what, and like I said, the reunion left off the first ever Maury Povich type of thing of figuring out whether this alleged baby is going to be his or not, that is very detrimental. And I have to send loving and healing energy to Miss Letitia, okay, and to all the women who are going through this on a day-to-day basis. All right. So yeah, I'm gonna leave y'all to it. And I'm gonna end it on this before I continue on preaching on, because it's getting ridiculous at this point. And you wonder why people are scared to get married and get in relationships, because ish like this happened. Okay. But without further ado, I'm gonna leave y'all to it. I thank you all for tuning in to this episode, this review of the first part of the reunion of Belle Collective. Feel free to leave a comment down below in the comment section and keep the conversation going. Also, all my social media links will be in the comment section. No, it will be in the description box, or you can just scan the QR code at the end of this video. All the links will be provided for you. Don't forget to share the video, as well as liking the video and subscribing to the YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you'll know the next time I upload a video. And always remember to love thyself, know thyself, soothe thyself, so you can heal thyself. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.